This is the Paranormal Report. Hey, indeed it is. Welcome to the Paranormal Report, Dar. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Weird, wanky, and wild
Is that
stuff.
supposed to be Marvin the Martian?
No.
This is Marvin the Martian.
Oh, sorry.
That was actually supposed to be Johnny Carson. Weird, wanky, wild stuff.
Oh, that did not.
No, because I did Art Fern, the Tea Time movie host. Oh, that guy. Okay. Remember with the?
Yes, I do.
Of course, people of a certain age will remember that.
Well, I don't think I remember a lot of it live. I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch all that. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
you are so much older than me.
So much older. So much older. Actually, this next story, our first story, will kind of fit since I'm so close to this. Yes.
No, more I am, but that's okay.
I'm very close. But anyway, before we do that, I just want to say one thing. We got a lot of complaints. People were PO'd, positively outraged that we talked over each other during the age of disclosure discussion last week.
Yep.
Hey, that's us.
If you guys think that's bad, you ought to come to a Herald dinner when nobody could get a word in edgewise. I just think we were super excited about what we had seen, and the Thanksgiving was there, and we were pumped and amped. So
yeah,
we will try harder. It's just very difficult. I'm Italian. Everybody talked over everyone my whole life growing up. So if you were in my household, you would have never survived. Sorry. And I'm not saying it's right, but it's just the way it was. So
we will endeavor to do better. And it was both of us. It wasn't just you. You kept saying, it's just me. They're complaining about me. I don't think so. It was both of us.
Oh, I think it was aimed at me. So that's fine.
Well, anyway, here's something we're all going to have to deal with eventually, hopefully many, many years down the road. There's a recent article out, psychologytoday.com, when near-death experiences do not fit the popular narrative. And this goes on to talk about different people's near-death experiences. They talked to a house painter, for example, who said, he had fallen from a ladder and came very close to death. And he said that the most important or significant insight was the essence of all is encounter and connection. Love means recognizing that the other should be exactly who they are and wishing them well, genuinely and honestly. And he says, I don't go around talking about it. I don't think I should tell others what love is. They also talked to an older woman who had an experience. She said, I have been homesick for heaven every single day for 40 years. Every day I longed to return. It hurt every day. Life wasn't so easy after that. And that's kind of a theme that we've heard, that, sometimes it can be difficult to readjust after a near-death experience because it's so profound that people don't know how to deal, or they have difficulty dealing with everyday life. Now, They talked about a study here from 1995. William J. Deheley published what he termed individually tailored hypothesis in the Journal of Near-Death Studies. Basically, this idea is that each experience arises in a form uniquely fitted to the experiencer. For this person, the experience; for that person, another. So in other words, and they're not saying in this article that it's imagined or subjective, but it seems like the actual near-death experience itself is tailored for that specific person, whatever they need or whatever be most profound for them, or those kind of things. Very, very interesting. They talk about the burden of being changed, and I think that they say here that it's difficult for them because a number of experiencers describe a subtle pressure that arises once their story becomes known. Other people expect depth, certainty, or a certain kind of spiritual maturity. So in other words, I think most people are looking for the tunnel of light. You saw Jesus, and that isn't that way for everybody. It differs from person to person to person, and it seems to be uniquely made for them. So, again, you would think having a near-death experience is universally positive, but it's not necessarily positive in the sense it makes everyday life sometimes more difficult to deal with. But other people say they get extreme clarity, they change their lives, It makes them appreciate people more, maybe be more forgiving. It really seems to differ from person to person.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just sounds like it's tailored to what you believe. So, right? I mean, I think there have been cases where people who are very, very strong believers in Jesus or, insert deity in there, they see that maybe when they go over to the other side. Yeah, I hope it's pleasant. And my question would be then, if those that don't come back, do they end up having any similar experiences to another person if that part is so individualistic? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as you go on to wherever you are, does that ever become similar to other people's experiences?
Well, recently I read something where somebody was talking about near-death experiences. I can't remember who it was. And they basically said, we're only getting like the beginning of the experience. We don't know what happens later on. So nobody's been able to come and say, well, I spent 3 or 4 days. Although I think like Dr. Eben Alexander, who was in a coma and had kind of a near-death experience, was there for wherever there is for a longer period of time. But for the most part, these are things where people have been dead 10, 15, 5, 10 minutes or something. But they will also say it seemed like much longer. I've heard that too. So
well, that's my question. Like, what happens later, which we're not going to know.
I'm willing to wait a while to find out.
Yeah, well, me too.
A while to find out, but
we'll see.
I come back to this. People can say, hey, I was over my body. I saw what these attending physicians were doing and all this great detailed stuff they couldn't know. Just for that reason alone, I believe there's something to this in that we do go on and we do experience the next step, and hopefully it's a good thing. But I bet your next story, I bet it's going to be a good one.
We fooled everyone, didn't we? We fooled everyone because everyone thought the lead story was probably going to be 3-Eye Atlas because it's been that way for like weeks, right?
Weeks, yeah. Well,
wrong.
One last thing. I thought that the near-death experience of everything we talk about today was the most pertinent to every person watching or listening, because guess what, folks?
It is.
Whether you believe in it or not, something's going to happen. It's what death and taxes are the two certainties. So everybody's going to deal with that. So when I saw the lineup,
I agree completely. No. I'm not questioning your starting with that because it is very true. Yeah, we are all going to deal with it. And it's pretty much one of the, top unexplained things, right? So hey, amen. Here's what's not unexplained, you're talking about betting. So we're going to bet on 3-Eye Atlas. Not really. We're betting on aliens. Avi Loeb, of course, and Michael Shermer have a bet going on, an extraterrestrial wager, so to speak, if you borrow Avi Loeb's words. And I appreciated this because I'm going to put the links into both articles. Both articles are the same on Michael Shermer's Skeptic site and Avi Loeb's site, Medium. They're the same. So I was appreciative of that. I liked it because it was not, Avi going on with, this is what I think, and Michael saying, no, you're wrong. I loved this. So basically, in the long tradition of scientific wagers, Skeptic magazine publisher and historian of science, Dr. Michael Shermer, has issued a $1,000 bet. And Avi Loeb accepted it. Here it is. Here's the bet. Discovery or disclosure of alien visitation to Earth in the form of UFOs, UAPs, or any other technological artifact or alien biological form as confirmed by major scientific institutions and government agencies will not happen by December 31st, 2030. Okay.
Wow.
So Michael's saying it's not happening, and Avi's like, "Oh, I'm taking that bet." So he did, and they placed the bet through this Long Now Foundation's Long Bets program, and I'll go into a little bit of what that is, whatever. But whoever wins the $1,000 stakes is donated to the Galileo Project Foundation, and the terms are saying that by December 31st, 2030, at least 2 of these 3 scientific organizations, so it has to be either NASA, the National Science Foundation, and the American Astronomical Society. They have to affirm that discovery of extraterrestrial intelligence in the form of UAPs, UFOs, or any other interstellar objects that are determined to be ETI technological in nature, or any alien biological life form found here on Earth has been made.
Wow.
Okay.
That is a bold bet.
It is a very bold bet. Yeah, and I like the article. I'll have you guys read it because it talks about Avi's argument saying, look, just started in earnest in 2025. We've discovered 3-Eye Atlas. There's the launch of the Rubin Observatory, the construction of 3 Galileo Project observatories. Given that it's million and billion years old, the galaxies, that you're bound to come up with something. Dr. Shermer's like, he started his magazine in 1992. He said he's been documenting ufologists' predictions since then, and he's still waiting 33 years later, and nothing's been proven. He kind of goes into that age of disclosure and why he thinks all that's kind of bunk. Talking about how they can only give evidence in skiffs. Just interesting. But this Long Bets program was started in 2003 by Stuart Brand and Kevin Kelly, and they kind of engaged in the scientific wagering, and it went back to 1870 when Alfred Russel Wallace, a co-discoverer with Charles Darwin of natural selection, accepted a 500-pound wager. So that was a working man's wages for 1 year, placed by flat earther John Hamden, that scientists could not prove the earth is round. So that's how this whole thing started.
Well, you know what, though? I like this. Yeah,
I do too.
I sense that there's a little bit of fun with this. Like, I'm going to show you. That's good. We're having communication. We're having dialogue. To be honest with you, not because there isn't ET life, but because I think the institutions are so against acknowledging it. I probably, if I were solely going not with my head rather than my heart, I probably go on Shermer's side, because I don't think any of these people are going to admit anything if there's any way that they can stop from admitting it. I mean, I'll briefly say this. There was a clip that just came out, and I assume it's not AI, okay, but it was supposedly of a Sean Hannity interview with Marco Rubio, and he started to not totally, but walk back a little bit his enthusiasm for the UFO subject in terms of it being something other than an adversary. He said something like, age of disclosure interviews were 3 or 4 years ago when I was in the Senate. Selective editing, he said, but that's okay. Paraphrasing, he said, that's okay. They're trying to sell a show. Well, right there, that's kind of like a So already we see the backpedaling. So I have no faith in any of our major institutions to disclose anything. But anyway, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, you didn't interrupt. Shermer's going to win this, I think. I don't think in 5 years, like you said, none of these major organizations are going to go ahead and say, yep, there is.
Unless it becomes so undeniable that they cannot,
That's true. That is true. Well, also this article, this is the part that I had a little bit of, I got a little upset about. They were talking about another bet that was made in 2017. Astronomer Martin Rees bet psychologist Steven Pinker that a, quote, bioterror or bioerror will lead to 1 million casualties in a single event within a 6-month period starting no later than December 31st, 2020. And they're saying since the lab leak hypothesis for COVID-19 bioerror was never proven, Pinker was declared the winner of the bet.
I don't say much about these kind of things, but I think it came from a lab. I'll totally go out on a limb and say that.
So I thought that was interesting.
I don't get into the whole COVID-19 thing, but you look where it came from.
It was interesting.
It came from.
But I thought they said it was error. Opinion. So I don't know. But anyway.
Moving
along.
Let's move along to something really exciting.
Ooh,
these shirts. Krampus.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah,
I got my cute little ghost.
Yeah, you've got the sweet, and I've got the evil, mean Krampus.
Hey, Cynthia, we match. We're twins. Cynthia bought one hoodie.
Tis
she
the
put it on the
season to stay
campfire.
Spooky. Jim Harold's campfire. Yeah.
Cynthia put
available
one on.
now.
I got to speak with her yesterday too, so it was so good to talk to you. Awesome.
Yeah, she was a caller on Campfire, and I called her and I said, Cynthia's here. You ought to come and say hi. So it was really cool. Let's take a look at the merch store and see what is new.
Yeah, we just had a great Black Friday sale, but we decided to go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We can't afford to do the deep cuts we were doing on Black Friday, but we wanted to do something for the holiday season. So here it is, and go ahead, Dar, take it away.
Oh, no, we just have the Krampus, because Krampusnacht is what, Friday? Is that right,
Yes.
Jim? The 5th? Yeah.
I believe so.
So you can wear your little Krampus shirt. I don't know if you'll get it in time. Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Krampus, to me, Krampus is for the whole season.
It is. I
in
think
my
so.
opinion.
For sure. So we have like the seasonal, we have the ornament I made. There's some ornaments from previous years. The beanie's really cool. So you could get some merch. Thank you to those that did take advantage over Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday. That was awesome. Thank you to the few people that bought my ornament. I got to get it straight here.
Yeah, put it in front of your face, because if you put it in front of your face, it will focus on, yes, there it goes.
There we
go.
go.
The thing that I really like about this, Darn, I was just telling you right before we hit record, I hadn't, move it down just a little because it's blotting out the light is blotting out
the light's hitting the Y.
Yeah, yeah, but it stays spooky. But the thing I really like about this, it looks like it's glass, but it's actually break-resistant acrylic, right?
Correct. And the glitter's on the inside. Therefore, you won't get glitter all over the place.
Yeah. I thought it was
just
really
me when I was
done.
making them.
Very well done. I got to tell you, if Dar would ever say, I'm sick of working for the spooky studio, I want to go back to speech therapy, I'm not doing the merch store or whatever, we might have a merch store, but it would be nowhere near what it is now. It would be very basic and very blah, and it's all because Dar's done such a great job.
Thank you. I'm learning. It's hard. It's I mean,
there's a lot.
I was based solely in the social sciences. I did speech therapy. If you ask me about, doing therapy for children or adults, I could tell you whatever. And this I can't. This is I am learning. It is hard, but I enjoy it.
You do a great job. And the other thing we do want to mention for our listeners in the UK, and I will let you explain it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I know a lot of you wish that you could get some of these things, some of the ornaments and the signs and stuff that I make. It's kind of impossible to send out, but I was able to create some of these sweatshirts, t-shirts, that kind of thing on Amazon UK. So amazon.co.uk. If you go there, and we're going to have a link in the show notes. I'll probably put a link in the virtual campfire as well.
Yeah. And at jimharold.com/merch. Yeah.
Perfect. Yep. So you can get some of these items. I cannot guarantee their quality or anything because they kind of print on whatever they want to. So it's probably not Bella and Canvas, or it might be Gildan. I don't know. But we are offering some of the shirts and some of the sweatshirts and hoodies there. So you can get some of your merch if you are in the UK, and it's Amazon, and they'll ship it right to you because it's UK based. Yeah.
And you definitely have to be logged in as you're in the UK, because if you log in as the US, that page will it'll go to nothing.
Yeah.
So you
I think if
sure
you do a
search,
it's not a great search engine, and it's not like a dedicated store like we have in Etsy. So you kind of have to suss some things out. But if you'll put Jim Harold Media LLC, some of them will come up. And if you click on one of the shirts and click on Jim Harold Media, the little link above it, you'll get to all the shirts.
The easiest way, though, is to go to jimharold.com/merch and go to the link that we're going to add before the show goes up, and or just go about it that way, or in the show notes of this episode. That'll be the easiest way to get to it.
Yes, very limited, but some things.
But
so
something, and on the quality, in the past, people have said the Amazon quality was pretty good, but we can't guarantee it because I'm sure they change from time to time. But so your mileage.
But there are multiple
may vary.
colors too. So if you see just something posted in white or gray, click through it. There are multiple colors. We have hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, that kind of thing. Long sleeve t-shirts.
All right.
There we go. But let's move
Very
along because
good.
we bored everyone.
Nah, no, not at all. But I have breaking news. Yes, Avi Loeb has written another story about Three Eye Atlas. Indeed he has. So the question is Three Eye Atlas sun-weared anti-tail composed of a swarm of objects? And I gotta say, Dr. Loeb's articles are excellent, but they go in a whole lot of detail of what I don't understand. And so I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to, well, yeah, he's a scientist. But basically what he's talking about here is it has this teardrop shape of its coma, and it has this anti-tail. Now, the way I understand it, like an anti-tail, it would kind of, would start out broad and go narrow. And it does the opposite, if I understand correctly. I'm not totally sure of that, but if I understand correctly. But he's looking at this, saying if the anti-tail is indeed associated with a swarm of non-evaporating objects around Three Eye Atlas, the interesting question is, what is the nature of these objects? Are they rocky fragments or something else? So he's kind of hinting, are these a swarm of engineered objects, those kind of things? I think that's what he's getting at. And what I didn't understand, and this is from iflscience.com, they're saying that Three Eye Atlas appears to be experiencing cryovolcanism. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's eerily similar to objects in the outer solar system. And they talk a lot about here, there's actually ice involved, which I didn't understand. That seems so counterintuitive to me.
I know.
They're saying it's experiencing cryovolcanism, as we could expect for a pristine trans-Neptunian object. Just pronouncing these words gets very tongue-twisting. We propose that the combination of elevated metal abundance and abundant water ice can account for the unusual coma morphology and chemical products reported to date. So I think that's getting to some of the stuff that Loeb talks about how this is so unusual, and maybe this is a possible explanation. And they're saying that interstellar visitors like Three Eye Atlas continue to challenge and refine our understanding of planetary system formation and the chemical evolution of small bodies. Each newly discovered object reveals unexpected properties that test and expand current models. So I think what they're saying is it's unusual, but it's natural occurring. And with each new object, we learn more, which is, I think that's better than some of the things that we've heard from the scientific community. So we will stay tuned. I mean, it'll be interesting as the month goes on, because we're coming up on that date in later December. And we'll see what happens. And I mean, it kind of lines up with your next story in terms of, there'll be signs and wonders in the end times. Are we dealing with some of those signs and wonders, Dar? What does Baba Vanga say?
Oh, Baba Vanga. See, now Avi might win that bet, according to Baba Vanga. Just 2 more days, everyone. This is what I'm going to. Okay. Dailymail.co.uk is having this article. It's about her world-changing 2025 prophecy is feared to occur in just days. They tagged this onto this. I don't really know. But anyway, she's told a lot of things that have come true. She has predicted that humans would make contact with alien life this year. And everyone, for some reason, has kind of tied it to the Friday's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw in D.C. Yeah, so she had a vision describing that a UFO would appear like a new light in the sky over the event, allowing humanity to meet extraterrestrials for the first time, bringing the world answers instead of fear. And it was supposed to take place during a major sporting event, and people from around the world would be able to see it. But she never really revealed what sporting event. So some people had thought this was going to happen back in February when the Super Bowl hit, but it did not. Yeah. So people are kind of tying it to this FIFA World Cup draw that's coming on Friday. It's an hour-long ceremony. There's 48 teams that are going to be determined, and they're expecting over 300 million people worldwide to watch this draw. So I guess that's why they're kind of saying, worldwide, everybody would see this. So we'll see on Friday.
It is curious that there is that big event, right? Though, isn't it?
It is.
All these things are coming together.
The only thing that's got me about Baba Vanga, she actually, and I didn't know this until this article. I don't know why I didn't know this, or maybe I did and just forgot because my brain's like a sieve. But that she foretold her own death correctly. She said she was going to die on August 11th, 1996, and she did.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't know this.
Weird,
and then I
stuff.
did kind of independently verify it from this article because I was like, is this true? It's what's coming up. So yeah. So I don't know. Take what you want with that. So maybe Avi's gonna win this Friday. Who knows? I don't.
Yeah, but if he wins, will we all lose?
It's an interesting.
That's the question.
But wasn't there another prediction? I don't think it was her, but wasn't there another prediction a few weeks ago that the world was going to end or something? What was it? Something like early November.
I think so. Yeah.
UK. Yeah. Okay.
It seems like somebody's always predicting the end of the world. Well, I always find it fascinating when we find that official government agencies, big governmental agencies, are looking into some of these anomalous things. Seems to give it more credibility, right? Well, apparently the FBI, at least in the 1970s, looked pretty seriously into the question of Bigfoot. And that file has been released. This is according to popularmechanics.com. And the FBI's FOIA Vault, Freedom of Information Act Vault, features a revealing 22-page Bigfoot file documenting 1976 to 77 exchanges prompted by media coverage of alleged Sasquatch evidence. Apparently, the Oregon Bigfoot Information Center sent hairs to the FBI, hairs and skin, for analysis, and the FBI actually did analysis on it to see if it was Bigfoot. And I have some news. It was not. It was apparently from a deer. But they did the analysis, and I give them kudos.
If you believe them. If you're conspiratorial, you could say, they did find that and they're hiding it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, flip the coin. There's trust involved. Apparently,
the gentleman from this BIC, Peter Byrne, the director of the BIC, kept requesting for them to do it. And they finally did do it. And they sent that letter out. They said their lab primarily conducts exams for law enforcement agencies in connection with criminal investigations, but they did eventually agree to inspect the hairs. After several newspapers, including the New York Times and Washington Star News, which I don't believe is even a thing now anymore, brought light to the Bigfoot's possible existence. Let's see here. I wanted to just see. Here we are. The hairs which you recently delivered to the FBI laboratory on behalf of the Bigfoot Information Center and Exhibition have been examined by transmitted and incident light microscopy. Blah, 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 blah. Also, the hairs were compared directly with hairs of known origin under a comparison microscope. It was concluded as a result of these examinations that the hairs are of deer family origin. And they returned the hair back to them. So there you have it. But I mean, at least they went through and did it, That's interesting, though, that they took the time. Now, I'm sure it was because of the public outcry in the newspapers and so forth and all of that. But hey, at least they ran the test. Again, if you believe their results. But I mean, that would be a hard thing to falsify, because couldn't you send the hair to a secondary lab and check the results if you were that convinced? I mean, I don't know what the
protocol
cost of that would have been at that time. I'm sure that wouldn't have been cheap, but somebody could have said, I think this is a lie, because they sent the sample back, assuming it's the same sample. But anyway,
so
there you have it.
Why did they take until this was 1976?
Yeah.
Why has it taken like, 50, almost 50 years to release the document.
Well, the document, yeah. But I mean, this was an internal FBI
So they
file.
did. So here's my point. I really sound conspiratorial, don't I? But I just don't trust a lot of these people.
I think you're more conspiratorial than I am, actually.
I am, because I don't trust anyone. I really do have trust issues. But because here's the deal. All right, you did your lab work. It's a deer. Then why, when at the height of this, that people were going crazy, oh my God, why didn't you just release documents then? Why are we waiting? Why did it take this guy again and again and again to get this released through FOIA? Shouldn't have just been like, here, have it. There's nothing there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't get it when there's just like blockages, or even, okay, if you didn't want to release it like in 77, why not 1980? A couple years later, things have died down. If there's nothing to it, who cares?
I don't think these agencies like to admit that they've looked into these things. I think there's that stigma. And I think they want to discourage it, and they don't want more people submitting samples because they don't want to open the floodgates to everybody. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example. I'll give people a little inside baseball. We had somebody, it is hard to get guests sometimes, and we emailed somebody, and they wanted me to pay them to be a guest. And it's like, we don't pay for guests. I mean, we've had very notable people on our shows, and I'm not going to start. But I got to thinking, this is probably just their generic kind of go away.
Oh, yeah.
Little boy,
yeah.
Little girl, go away.
Yeah. So many of you request certain people, and we do try to get certain people on the Paranormal podcast. And
it's gotten much harder. And I mean, we've had some of the biggest names in the UFO subject.
We're supposed
We've had
to pay
some of the
these
biggest
people
names
beyond.
in the ghost subject. This person dealt with an area of expertise. I'm not going to even say what it was. We actually interviewed multiple times the person who invented the term that they cover. I mean,
this person wasn't even in their career when you started podcasting.
Right. So,
okay. I was in my career before they started.
So
anything.
the point
it's just
being that,
and you're getting publicity, and you're getting to promote your book or show or whatever it is that you do. I mean, apparently that's not important. So if you'll pay them, then it's important. Ante up, buddy. Anyway.
Well, the day I start after paying guests is the day I start not having a show.
Well, I don't know. Have a dialogue. You don't need to get paid to have a dialogue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How important are you?
Well, this is actually important, and I think this is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some recent studies. It turns out that and this is from livescience.com, more than 70 years ago.
You're skipping me again?
I'm skipping you again? Oh, gosh.
Yes, you are.
We're
going to talk about telepathy. We're not talking about You had Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
I'm going on to telepathy.
I thought we were going right from Baba.
Here.
I forgot that I talked about Bigfoot.
There's no telepathy between you and I. It's gone.
Okay. All right. Well, I stand corrected. Continue with your story, and we'll get on to this next
from
thing.
From Popular Mechanics. Jinx, you buy me a Coke. They are talking about your brain being naturally telepathic. That all of our minds are basically connected. So they're saying, like, when you have that click with somebody, it's not just your imagination. It may come from a natural telepathy. And they're calling it neural coupling. Okay. So when two or more people's brains synchronize or simultaneously display the same activity patterns, it's not like the telepathy you'll see in movies where you could say, I'm going to put this word into your mind. It doesn't quite work that way. This is coming from one of the researchers, Uri Hassan, PhD, and he discovered brain-to-brain coupling more than a decade ago. And he says, like, our brains are like a wireless transmitter, and it seems kind of mystical and science fiction-y, but it's not. He's saying this is what communication is. It's what humans do best. And it goes on to say it's communication is really a single act performed by two brains. That's a quote. And he said all brains naturally couple with the outside world, reacting to whatever stimuli we're bombarded with. And they go on and they're talking about a lot of the different research studies that have shown this synchronization and whatnot. I have a real problem with one study. You and I talk about this all the time. Research, it's like causation does not, or
correlation does not.
Correlation.
Correlation does not mean causality.
Correct. So there's this one study they did with infant and adult brains saying that they sync during play. And I'm not faulting that. And I'm not even faulting that the research is existing. That's cool. It's true. When you play with a baby, I am sure they are syncing to what you're doing, but there are so many other things involved, because they're saying when they took the adult away, the child didn't have those neural syncs with the adult. Yeah, you took away facial expressions, you took away any verbal communication, you took away intonation, prosody, you took away everything that gives the child clues, so to speak. We call it clues. I mean, clues as to what's going on. And of course, they're going to make that synchronization much stronger if they're there. So when you're face to face, and that's with anybody. I mean, have you ever read a text and interpreted it incorrectly? You would be like, "Whoa, my God, they're telling me off." And they're not telling you off.
There's no context.
There's no context. There's no facial expressions. There's no intonation in the voice. It's words. Now you can soften it with emojis and that kind of helps, but it's not going to give you full context.
And I'm not saying that particular study with the babies, but I do believe this. I mean, the classic example when I talk to people about this, they give, and it's true. There could be an argument in a room and you walk into the room and you kind of feel that energy. Yeah, there's nonverbal cues as well, obviously.
Right.
But I do think that, I think telepathy is a thing. I think telepathy is definitely a thing. And I do think there is such a thing as kind of like a mind meld. I mean, we experience it, I think, all the time. And part of
Except
that's being
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say it's 100%.
You and I really,
Part
it's
of
scary sometimes.
That's part of being together for over 30 years. But part of it is just like, there is something to that. I really believe that. I think that's a very...
I believe that too. I do. And
thing.
that's why I'm not poo-pooing this article. I do believe that there is like a mind meld with other people, and you kind of do anticipate what's going to be said. And I think that it's there. I just had just a little problem with just that one study saying this is proof. Well, there's other factors. So you got to be careful how you're saying that there's proof. But, I do think children do. I absolutely do think that they can connect with an adult brain for sure. So no disrespect.
Now can I say my story?
Now you could go ahead and talk about your story.
I can say my story, nice lady. Nice lady.
Yes, you can, little
lady.
Baby. Go ahead now,
All
little boy.
Well, you know how the atmosphere is now full of space junk and satellites and everything. It is kind of depressing when you think about it. Well, it wasn't that case 70 years ago, more than 70 years ago, when astronomers at the Palomar Observatory in California photographed several star-like flashes that appeared and vanished within an hour. Years before the first satellite, Sputnik 1, was launched into our orbit, because now, if they take similar pictures, they're going to see a lot of space junk. The sky was pristine 70 plus years ago. And there's some researchers who are looking at this and saying, what in the world is it? They said that they had these events share distinctive features, including some sharp point-like shapes that appear to line up in straight rows, that the authors of the new research say defy known natural or instrumental causes. And the researchers are Stephen Brule and Beatrice Villarroel. She's an astronomer at the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Physics in Sweden. And scientists are not rejecting this out of hand. They're saying that it kind of defies explanation.
Wow.
Brule, who is, he sounds like the less of the scientist in this project. He is an anesthesiologist at the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine, but he's interested in UFOs. He says, if it turns out that transients are reflective artificial objects in orbit prior to Sputnik, who put them there and why do they seem to show interest in nuclear testing? it seemed like more of these showed up when there had been a nuclear test or something.
Interesting.
Now, other people disagree. Michael Garrett, director of the University of Manchester's Jodrell Bank Centre for Astrophysics in the UK, he wasn't involved in these studies, praised Via Roel's team for their creative use of archival data, but cautioned against interpreting these results too literally. My main worry is not the quality of the research team, but the quality of the data at their disposal. So he goes on to say, I suspect that with better data, these apparent correlations would go away. So it's like, we can't explain it, so it must be the data.
It's the data.
I really am interested. I want to do a paranormal podcast on this, speaking of guests, because I think this is so interesting. Because this is not something that mainstream science can automatically poo-poo. Now, we got that little kind of on the data there, but it's interesting. Brule told Live Science, this is from livescience.com, there's no easy explanation for what these transients are and why they would show up at nuclear tests. So, I mean, just think about that. They're basically seeing kind of UFOs in 70-year-old pictures. They can't figure out what it is. That's pretty wild, because now you say, again, it's satellites, it's space junk. No such thing back then. Interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, right? If it gets further developed, or they poo-poo it further.
Well, so a lot of people don't think there's any question about what's going on. What'd you find?
There's a new YouGov poll that finds that most Americans believe aliens exist, and many think they've paid a visit to Earth. 56% of Americans believe aliens definitely or probably exist. More so than Bigfoot, which was 28%, Yeti 23%, Loch Ness at 22%, or Chupacabra at 16%. I'm not going to get into the rest some of this article because they're talking politics, like which political group believes more than the other, and blah blah blah. And I don't care. I don't know what that has to do with anything and how they could delineate between whatever. Yeah, 30% of Americans believe UFOs are unidentified flying objects. They're probably alien ships or life forms. And 45% believe they have some other explanation. Yeah, so it's a very interesting article with all the polling that they did. 42% said aliens have definitely or probably have visited Earth. And 41% said, no, they haven't. So that's that's very equal. So I don't know. What say you, Jim? Do you think they've visited Earth?
Yes, I do.
There we go.
I do. They're the final word. No more needs to be said.
That's it.
No,
nobody else needs to know anything else. It's done.
I think they have visited. And now if somebody says, well, I have tea with aliens every third Thursday of the month, then I'm a little more skeptical. But do I think they visited? Yes. Yes, I do. I do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think of something like the Malmstrom Air Force Base case, Robert Salas, who has been on the shows, and talked about how they took nuclear missiles offline. Yeah, I think they've been here. Do they visit, people like every week or every day? I think some of that stuff can be overblown, but I definitely think they've been here.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Well, also just to end it on this, most Americans are about twice as likely to think that the effect would be negative than being positive if they came back, or they feel like they're going to bring disease, or they'll be hostile, that kind of thing.
I just go back to this. And again, I think there's this thought that, if they're so technologically superior to us, they must be mentally and spiritually superior to us. So they're probably come in peace. They're our space brothers. I just can go by what I know, which is human history. And any time a technologically superior society meets up with a technologically inferior society, the technologically inferior society does not win out, does not fare well. And yeah, maybe they're way ahead of us in terms of their philosophy and their morality and all of that. And maybe they're not. and I'm not willing to take that bet. I mean, I would like to know if they exist because I think it's better to not know, to know than not know, but I don't think it's good news. I'm with Stephen Hawking on that one.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
kind of scary.
I don't know any. I don't know
I know
any
you
of
don't
this.
know, but I'm just saying I don't know where I fall. My beliefs fall in that. I feel like it can be scary if they are hostile. I mean, yikes, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's all I keep saying. I don't think they'll be back in my lifetime. I don't know though. Do you?
I
You think?
wouldn't be so sure. I mean, I think 2030 maybe soon, but I think, if we live out our natural lifespans, 20, 30 years, I think it's possible. We'll see what happens.
That's true. It could happen. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't. Maybe it's I don't want that.
Right.
I think I am. I think I'm afraid of it. I've become more fearful of all of these things since doing the show with you.
Yeah, I don't think I
gave it a
you
lot
out with this show. I think I freaked you out with this show.
I don't think I've given so much thought to any of these things until I started
your
reading more
eyes have been
articles.
opened.
Well, because I wouldn't read too much, and I mean, I'd listen to your shows here and there, the ones that were more appealing to me. Yeah, but I wasn't so in depth in everything, and now I'm fearful of everything. So
I'm sorry. Well, this next one is not something to be fearful of. It's kind of cool.
Are you trying to give up your coffee, Jim? Are you trying to?
Actually,
but you're doing the next one. See, now I did it to you. One good turn deserves another.
All right, here we go. Daily Mail, dailymail.co.uk. And, aside from stuff out there's always amazing stuff down here that people are discovering. And archaeologists have discovered a lost ring of pits near Stonehenge. They've proven the existence of these pits near Stonehenge, and they say it could be Britain's largest prehistoric structure.
Wow.
The ring of more than 20 pits, some of which are 10 meters deep and 5 meters wide, extends in an arc more than a mile across. At their center are the ancient sites of Durrington Walls and Woodhenge, 2.9 kilometers northeast of Stonehenge, where the Henge builders held ritual feasts. And they're theorizing this may have had religious significance. They said the discovery of the pit circle appeared to further cement the Salisbury Plain reputation as a uniquely important religious site for Britain's Neolithic people. They say the area is not only home to Stonehenge, but also a wider series of interconnected ceremonial structures, stone circles, and cemeteries from the Stone Age.
Wow.
Yeah, they said each pit had the same pattern of repeating layers, starting in the late Neolithic period, something that would be extremely unlikely to happen naturally. So in other words, these were probably man-made. And they said that the techniques also identified the DNA of sheep and cattle, which suggests that the pit circle was being occupied and farmed at the same time, if I could speak. It says the one professor, Professor Gaffney, who was working on this project, says it confirms that this structure, probably the largest prehistoric monument in Britain at least, is a purposely constructed monument in a landscape which is itself exceptional. Pretty cool.
That's
and
neat.
It amazes me after all these years, they are still finding things. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you think about all the different things that are being discovered. And that's why I always say we need to be humble when we look at science, because there's so much that we don't know, or maybe we think is not possible. And then a year or two later it comes out, oh, well, actually it is possible, or actually we just discovered this. So we need to salute science and hold science in respect, but also maintain that humble nature that we don't know everything and we're always making new discoveries.
For sure.
Speaking of new discoveries, as I take another sip of coffee,
Want to quit?
This might be the most disturbing story of the week.
Oh no! It's how a psychic made Meghan Trainor quit coffee. There you go.
Oh my!
Such a this article. It's from USA Today. I can't believe they put this in there, but yeah. So she decided to quit coffee because her husband Daryl Sabara visited a psychic. The psychic never met Megan at all. She didn't go with him. She was her husband was gifted a session, and she went. The psychic there said, "Your wife." This is a quote. "Your wife is using coffee like speed. She's nonstop, and
Wow.
it's not helping her, and she's just crashing out." And so he came home and told her, and Megan was like, how does she know that? And she just quit cold turkey because she said it was true. She was drinking it all day long just to survive and be steady, and then she would crash, and then she'd be buzzing at night trying to sleep. And she said it was just wreaking complete havoc on her health. She said her adrenals were shot, her hormone levels were off balance, and she just wasn't feeling great because she was drinking like an immense amount of coffee. Yeah.
Did the psychic also say, "I'm getting a picture. Your wife's saying it's all about that bass, no trouble."
No. Oh, God.
Anyway, although she has a great State Farm commercial, the one with Patrick
Yes,
Mahomes.
I like that one. I think that's funny.
I don't like those commercials in general, but she's quite good in that.
That was funny. Yeah. So there you have it.
Well, there you have it.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yes. I don't think we talked over each other that much.
We tried.
We tried our best.
We tried. It's hard. Sorry.
So
that's because we have that mind meld.
That's mind meld. We're such
that telepathy.
We can't restrain ourselves.
That's right.
And I'm sure after seeing this show, you won't be able to restrain yourself with checking out our merch at jimharold.com/merch. And again, we've got that 10% sale off. So we hope that you can take advantage of the Krampus shirt, the beautiful snowman shirt and hoodies and so forth, the ornament. There's a lot of good stuff there. Thanks to Dar. Great job on that.
And another reminder, ornament contest. Come on, guys. We want to see your ornaments.
Yes. Yeah, and time is wasting. jimharold.com/holiday2025. We'll put a link in the show notes. jimharold.com/holiday2025. And we're giving away Amazon gift cards. We're giving away Campfire books, Campfire t-shirts. So you may win, but the only way you can potentially win is to submit. And we always get some great creative stuff, and I hope that comes to pass this year. So please do send in your submissions, and time is wasting. So please do go over there, get all the rules, all the details, where to send your ornament, jimharold.com/holiday2025. And speaking of holiday, we hope everybody's having a great holiday. What were you going to say,
I was just going to say, stay tuned. We'll be announcing our holiday live stream. We're just kind of trying to solidify a date because things are crazy. But so stay tuned. We'll let you know when that is. And we hope you guys join us for also some prizes and fun. And yeah.
We always try to do something special for the holidays. It's all a lot of fun. We hope you're having a good one. We hope that we contributed to the festive nature, and we'll talk to you next time on the Paranormal Report. Get ready to dance.
Bye. Have a good week.
Bye-bye. Stay spooky.